What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Final Whistle. I'm Danny Erb, joined alongside my guy, as always, Nathan Ostler. Nate, got some things we got to talk about today. Talk MLB, talk some NFL news, college basketball. I think we start off with college basketball here. Final Four is set. Final Four is set. It was a very good, and a lot of people are complaining that this tournament's all chalk and there's no upsets. I don't hate that. I've really enjoyed this tournament so far. It's just shown the level of ball that's going on, and the best teams are prevailing. We look at Auburn, look at Houston. I mean, the one seeds for the first time in a very long time. The ones it's all one seeds in the Final Four, which is I like that because it's the best teams. It is the best teams playing, and the best team is going to win the tournament. I really like that. But that brings up the question, Nate, is NIL ruining college basketball? Because you look at the Dukes, you look at the UNCs, they kind of fell off, but these giant programs, these dogs, obviously they're going to get the 5 stars and the 4 stars, and guys are going to sway to a Duke or a Kansas or an Alabama just because they have money, instead of being like, you know what, I'm a good ball player. I'm still going to go to, NC State because that's try and do something there. You get a bag of money waved across your face, and you're going to go to Duke, of course. So that might be the step in the direction we're going, where, okay, now these top programs, there's no chance for upsets anymore, because a team like McNeese is never going to get a guy that is a unbelievable, just a flat out dog, because if he is, he's going to transfer to somewhere like Duke, Bama, somewhere with a lot of NIL, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah. And the interesting thing about that, I'm just looking at the bracket on ESPN really quick. The only team that was in the Elite 8, let me see, Sweet 16. The only Sweet 16 team that was a 10 seed or higher was Arkansas, a 10 seed. I get what you're saying with this NIL thing. This has been something I've always thought about too. And I'll first off say this. I'm happy that this is a year where we're actually going to be getting all ones.
It's cool, yeah.
I feel like people just are mad about it because every year there's always a Cinderella team.
Mm-hmm.
The Cinderella team this year was honestly Arkansas. They were the lowest seed to make it the farthest, besides McNeese, Colorado State, and Drake. If you're playing like with these one seeds, what I like about it is we are getting the best of the best. Like our pick, what we did the other week, Duke, Florida, still alive. Yeah. And our champion, Duke, that the wheel picked, of course, is still alive. You're getting Auburn, Florida, SEC matchup, Duke, Houston. Every other year, it seems like Houston wants to be this good. They always collapse. Duke, I feel like it's been a while since Duke's been in a spot to make it to the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, Auburn, I feel like it's been ages since Florida basketball has been like top dog. And they by far, I would say, are the favorite to win it all. They're nasty, in my opinion. Overall, though, with the NIL stuff, the takeaway that I think we forgot to talk about last week, did you see the thing about St. Francis?
No.
By chance? Mm-mm. So St. Francis, of course, won the play-in. Oh, actually, no, I think they lost their play-in game. They lost on that buzzer beater layup. They dropped to Division III in all sports. Literally days after being eliminated from March Madness. Days after being eliminated from the Division I tournament for the first time I feel like they've ever been there. They dropped all the way down to Division III. Not Division II. No, Division III. Well, I think they're going to be in the PAC.
Yeah. I know people that go to St. Francis, and now that you do tell me, I do know this. The dean actually told them, he said that he would have said something earlier, but he didn't want to ruin March Madness. Listen, there's people that are committing to your school at that time, and now you're going D3. I think it's a crap move by whoever runs stuff over there at St. Francis. And I know a lot of the student athletes now are going to transfer, but I mean, NIL is as cooked as it's not. Has it ruined college sports in a sense of the programs that aren't powerhouses?
It's iffy.
I mean, you look at like what Nicholas is talking about. Kentucky, he's a Kentucky fan. Obviously, he's going to be biased because, he wants the guys to come because they have the most money. Like a team like Pitt is never going to get a 4-star,
like
4 or 5-star recruit. Yeah, it's free agency. and when a team like Pitt has a dog, a guy that's going to average 20, Why would you stay at a school like Pitt?
You
Why
wouldn't.
would you? You wouldn't. It's not a good business move to stay at a school like that. Take the money because we know the skill gap from college to the NBA is so significant to where if I can make $1 million in college, I'm going to make $1 million because like look at a guy like Zach Edey, Nate. This guy was the best player in college basketball by a large margin, and in the NBA, he's eh. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, Zach Edey is going to be making money in the NBA. He's not going to be like cut or anything. But there's guys, Drew Timmy. Drew Timmy was unbelievable in college for his whole career.
You remember Luka
He,
Garza?
exactly. Those guys are barely playing in the NBA where they would have been making millions in college basketball. Now there's outliers. Guys like Cooper Flagg are obviously going to be good in the NBA, but this whole NIL thing, it's ruining basketball in a sense, but it's also making it better to where you're going to see better competition because the best players are going to go into the Dukes, the Kentuckys, the Bamas, and now you can see all ones in a Final Four it's good. That is a fun game to watch instead of seeing Duke versus a 8 seed in the Final Four. And okay, the spread's 19.5. It's like, why am I even going to watch this game? Like Duke's going to murder them.
Yeah.
And it's like the Cinderella story is always going to end at some point. I would rather see chalk in the tournament because I know that these are the best teams. These are the best 4 teams in the country, and that's cool to me. Like I want to see the best teams go up against each other, but that's just my take.
Yeah, I think with this NIL thing, I agree with what you said. I want to see the best teams this year because I feel like it's been a while. Like last year, I think NC State made the Final Four. But the big guy they had, I think it was them. We've seen like Princeton win a game in March Madness, but then they just get destroyed like a couple rounds later. Like personally, I would prefer to see this Final Four than see like a Oral Roberts type, a St. Peter's type. Sure, it's a fun story, but they're just going to get clobbered in the national championship. But like this is kind of a breath of fresh air. It's something a lot of people aren't used to seeing 4-1s because we haven't had this. I feel like in a while.
Yeah.
But my thing with the NIL stuff, and I agree 50-50 on this whole concept of NIL, just because it was like an age-old argument, should student athletes be paid? Should you be paid? And if you want to be paid, you want to be in commercials, go right ahead. Like that's the reason NCAA football like consoles was taken away because athletes weren't getting paid. Government had to get involved. They get this all passed. We got college football, a video game back, thank goodness. And at the same time, we were saying NIL is ruining this. Just look at what it's done to college football. College football, we talked about this before. Penn State's backup QB. I know you and I don't like Penn State at all, but their backup QB, and I agreed with James Franklin with this, he opted out of the playoffs to go take another job. What happens if Drew Aller gets hurt? Who's their backup? Who is it? I agree with James Franklin in the sense of there needs to be a cutoff. You have to be able to wait until the official end of season. This could go for every team, not even just a team that's not in the playoffs. Say Pitt's not in the playoffs. They weren't last year. If you can't leave Pitt or a team can't get you until the college football playoffs are done, that is it. Because then spring ball happens. Then you got to transfer schools. You think you're a student there. You're a student, per se, this backup QB at Penn State. I forget where he went, but he's literally leaving Penn State to go to a different college, not just play football. He's leaving mid-semester, more than likely. But that's the thing with football, and we bring up like the whole thing about money too. And the college football playoff, I was really excited for, don't get me wrong. It wasn't really up to the standard I think a lot of people wanted until maybe the Final Four. The first couple rounds were just boring. They were boring games. The best game people I can remember, like the only one that was particularly close was Notre Dame, Indiana. It was just because Indiana just getting freebies at the end, if I remember it right. And it was just like the easy, hey, here's some quick money. Here you go. Advertising, going into this NIL stuff. With March Madness, you brought it up too. We're getting 4-1s, but honestly, the state of college basketball, I think a lot of people can agree with this, has changed. Remember, it used to be the big dogs of the Big East. It used to be all those teams. Then it seemed to be like this is the ACC's sport. Now it's the SEC because you know what? Who has money out of the ACC and SEC? Sure. The Southeastern Conference. And here's the thing with the NIL.
Dead, but the SEC's been dead for years before the NIL and transfer
Oh,
portal.
yeah.
And
But
I'm
which
an SEC
conference
guy.
Yeah,
I'm an ACC guy. I love the
yeah.
ACC, but
And here's the thing too, like I forget who was saying this, but I completely agreed with this. If the Big East per se, UConn, Creighton, Villanova, all these like OG teams, even UConn, even though they're still good today, if they want to like per se bid for one of these players, like this whole transfer portal window type of thing mixed with the NIL type of stuff, they're not going to be able to compete with the big dogs. You're not going to, if you're a player and you have a great offer per se, let's just say Seton Hall, okay? They've been in March Madness a few times these last few years. If you get a contract or per se a good scholarship and they're just going to blow them out of the water, Seton Hall might be the better fit, but which school is going to give you all the money? So I guess that's kind of my take on the NIL stuff. I love it for the players. I hate it for us, the fans, because honestly, like it sucks to see like
there's pros and
some
cons.
of your favorite players dip on you, and then they go to these big guys, they go to the big honchos. Like I think one of the Pitt basketball players is rumored to be going to like Miami, even though Miami's not per se like a great basketball school, but like still. But like with this Final Four, I'm intrigued. I really am. Auburn, Florida. I'm excited for a top dog SEC matchup. Duke, Houston. I think that's a very underrated one. I think the game I'm most excited for is the SEC game, just because these are two SEC big dogs. And I think the winner of that game has a strong chance just to take the whole thing. I think if Florida wins, we picked Florida Duke in our original bracket. I think we could see just Florida win this tournament. I'm just looking at the path Duke took. So Duke beat Alabama 85-65. That might be their best win of the tournament, in my opinion. 193 in the Sweet 16 over Arizona. Second round, they beat Baylor, and then 93-49 over Mount St. Mary's. So Duke's had a great run. I think if I'm picking a final two, just to get to that really quick, I'm taking Florida Duke, and I think I'm going to switch to Florida just because I think Florida's had the ride that Florida's been on has been very entertaining to me. I feel like they've had the tougher route. They killed Norfolk State. They survived UConn. That was a scare. They beat Maryland. They beat Texas Tech. I think that's a great route for them, and I think this is a huge test for them against Auburn. Nicholas says, is there a road where Houston beats Duke?
No.
Honestly, possibly.
No, there's not.
Let's look at what Houston did this so far. SIUE, they murdered. Gonzaga, who I thought could have been a dark horse team, they beat. Purdue, they beat by 2. Then they pretty much manhandled Tennessee, who beat Kentucky, 69-50.
There's no reality, Nate, where any team beats Duke. Duke's your national champion, and it's as clear as that. Houston can put up a fight, but I think that giving Duke 5.5 here is free, spread wise. LJ Cryer, he's good, but like as your best option, I think that even like a guy like Con Knuppel on Duke has 4 players better than Houston's best player, in my opinion. And that might be a crazy take, but I think that this Duke team is the best college basketball team I personally have seen, just from depth wise. I think that it's not just Cooper. The team as a whole is unbelievable. It's built to win a championship. Sometimes, Nate, in college basketball, you see a team like Duke with a guy like Cooper Flagg, and all you have is just a guy like Cooper Flagg, who's the clear-cut number 1 overall pick. But after him, there's a bunch of guys that are so. Duke has 3 players that are going to go top 10 overall, top 5.
You think Cooper
overall.
Flagg's number 1? You would say,
without a doubt. This is like the Wemby draft, where it was like, okay, everyone knows where this guy's going. There's not even going to be a line to bet who if you can bet Cooper Flagg
Cooper
or not.
Cup.
It's be the best defense Duke has seen so far, but I agree, Dan. Yeah, they're just not losing. I mean, Houston's a defensive team. They always have been, all the way back when they had like Jamal Shed, which was last year. But Duke's unbelievable. Duke's unbelievable. Duke's not losing a game. Any one of their players can take over. Literally, any one of their players can take over. You look at it's cracked. This Duke team's cracked.
So you're taking Duke. I'm taking Florida, because the next time we'll be live, I think, is the day after the championship, because I think Saturday's the final 4 games, and then it would be Monday the 7th if I'm doing the calendar math right.
Sure.
So I have switched. We originally picked Duke. I go Florida. Danny's going Duke. Other than that, any final takeaways about this whole thing? Because honestly, I think this has been a pretty solid tournament. I know people were upset.
I think that people are not. Is this better? Yes.
Here's a question.
It is. And I think that Zion is the best college basketball player I have ever seen in my life play. But, I mean, you got to think Cam Reddish was unbelievable at Duke as well. And so was RJ Barrett. But I think that after those three, there was a little bit of a drop-off. This Duke team, there is like Cooper Flag could go out and give you 9 points, and they're still gonna win the game by 9. Like this Duke, the whole starting rotation of Duke is cracked. It's unbelievable. They have a big man. They have guards. They have shooters. They have guys who can play D. They have guys off the bench that can play off the ball. It's an unbelievable team. I think this is better than the Zion's team. And plus, Zion's team couldn't even make the Final Four.
Yeah,
they couldn't. They lost to Michigan State. Or maybe that was the Final Four, but they couldn't make a championship. This Duke team is clear cut going to win the championship. I remember with the Zion team, I was like, okay, this team might not win the championship. Like, they had a few close calls. Duke has not had a close call this tournament.
No,
not a close call. Duke's last loss was it to Clemson? I remember that game. It was close. Like they didn't get blown out. Duke has not had to face the music yet this tournament. And that could be a bad thing for them, but yeah, go for it.
Their closest game was 7 points to Arizona, 193.
Yeah, and I watched that game, and Duke's like, it's not like Arizona was in the lead in like back and forth. It was a close game for a little bit, and then like you just know the way Duke's playing, like Arizona's trying their hardest, and Duke's like, all right, like let's go, come on. It's Duke. Duke is. I like Duke. I've ever since Zion was on Duke, I've just been like, okay, if Duke's on, I'm gonna watch Duke. I like Duke. I don't hate like a team in college basketball, except for like I don't like UConn. That's the only team I really don't like, is because of what they did to Pitt, and obviously Penn State. But there's not a team I hate. But all right, nice.
Listen, I'll say this.
Nev's just mad because what happened in the Elite Eight when Bama got belt the ass from Con Knuppel, Cooper Flag, and I'd be upset too. I'd be upset too. Yeah,
hey, this is
like I want that so bad. Picked. I want that so bad. Yeah,
I'm surprised this year we're at least getting a 1v1, no matter what. Cool. When's the last time it's been a 1 seed versus 1 seed? It's been a while, hasn't it?
I think recently, actually.
Really? I feel like it's been a while. It's just
I think it was
something
UConn.
We haven't really been seeing.
No, I remember the last time a 1 seed won was UConn last year. But
I think it was against San Diego State, wasn't it? Or was that a couple years ago?
I actually don't remember.
San Diego State.
Yeah.
I'm bad.
I have no clue. Yeah, I'm liking too. All right. Should we move into MLB?
Yeah, let's do it. Any other thoughts about this? Other than then,
Duke's your national champion.
Yeah, I think this has been a fine tournament. I get the hate it's getting just because of the lack of upsets, but I don't think it's worth all the hate. Other than that, we got some opening day takeaways. Opening weekend is over. About every team is in their third series in Major League Baseball. We already had some news this weekend.
There's one thing that I want to, Duke by 100. We already talked about that, Braden. They're your national champion. UConn versus Purdue last year. Was that the champ? Was that the championship?
I think so.
They were both 1 seeds. Yeah, it sounds right.
I think the year before was then the San Diego State one, if I'm thinking right.
Yeah. MLB, Nate. Big move that happened just a few hours ago is my
the Renegade.
David Bednar's been sent down to AAA. David Bednar has been piss poor for the Pirates. He's been horrible. I wanted to start off with the Pirates just so we could get our rage out and then actually drop ball knowledge, talk actual MLB.
Yeah, that's fine.
But this David Bednar guy, Nate, I'm glad that the Pirates did this early, and we're like, no, David, you're going to MLB. I don't care if you're the Renegade and you're a fan favorite. I think this is a good move. You want to know why?
What?
Because he will get booed to hell on opening day if he's on that roster and he's in the lineup and they introduce him at PNC Park. He will get booed to hell, and that would ruin his confidence. 100% worse than being sent to AAA. Your home city's booing you. Like,
Yeah, he's been booed before.
Holderman will get booed.
His whole team's gonna get booed.
Shelton will get booed. No, they won't. Shelton will get booed. Paul
Yeah,
Skeens is going to get
the way they're
glazed.
playing, they probably will.
No, not everyone. But
I hope not.
Holderman and Shelton are for sure going to get booed, and that's it for now. Like last year, Bailey Falter got booed. Remember that opening day?
That was stupid. I was there, and I don't know why people are booing. It wasn't even bad.
So,
like honestly, like I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like that could have played into it. It's like, okay, let's not have Dave play opening day because he's going to get booed, and pitchers are head cases, and you can't have that. I'm just happy they sent him down. I really do think it was a good move.
I'll say this about this, and we'll talk about Pirates for a little bit here because I do have some stuff to say about what they've done this week. The David Bednar stuff, I'm surprised they did it this early, honestly, because I know the Pirates in the past, they would have waited so long. They would have said, just out of spring training. We know he struggled last year. You're just out of spring training. We'll just keep throwing him. I was, for instance, in my opinion, if they were going to keep him up, take him out of the high leverage situations and go closer by committee role. Like you have a Dennis Santana who pitched really good down the stretch last year. I'm a really big fan of Caleb Ferguson so far out of their bullpen. I know Ryan Barucki's pitched already some high leverage situation with like runners on. Other than that, I mean, those are kind of the three options I would think of for a closer role for now because Holderman can't do it. I'm surprised. He has an option left too, and he's still up here. But I mean, he's not really the closer, so they don't have to worry about that. Bednar has primarily been the closer, and I'm very surprised they did this in the aspect of, you know what? The Pirates are stinking up the joint. Maybe we should actually do something about this because David Bednar is like we all know, a two-time All-Star. Last year fell off the rails. And it goes both ways. It's kind of like, could they have traded him for a lot at the time? But here's the thing. If they did that, a lot of people would be mad because that's the two faces of us Yinzers. We're very emotional with our takes here. If they would have traded Bednar 2 years ago, I would have been really upset because he's a two-time All-Star. They would have did it on his bobblehead night, by the way, because it was the David Bednar bobblehead weekend. That was the trade deadline thing. And they didn't trade him. Everyone was so excited. They actually sent him down. I'm happy they just sent him down just because he's going to be taken out of high leverage. He can still pitch against quality competition in AAA Indianapolis. And the thing with it, too, I'm kind of thinking how hard that conversation could have been for the idiot manager, Derek Shelton, who I don't like already. I mean, Ben Cherington's the worst of them all, the GM. But that's a conversation for another episode.
Worse than Nutting?
Oh, no, I'm talking about manager, GM type of thing. But yeah, Bob Nutting's the worst. But with this conversation, I feel like they had, it was probably today or maybe last night because the move happened today because Thomas Harrington gets called up. Bednar goes down. Jason DeLay, poor guy's just a scapegoat. He gets DFA'd. He'll probably be back. But the thing with Bednar, I can imagine that conversation. You're from the town, and that's why people think, oh, that's the only reason he's still on the team. No, that's not the only reason because David Bednar, like I said, two-time All-Star, his fastball actually still plays a little bit because there was a clip someone posted. It moves a lot. Like when it's on, it can be on. It's actually pretty interesting how that works. And with this conversation, I could just imagine how hard of it could have been. I wonder how it went saying like, hey, I know opening day PNC. I know that how much that might mean to you. It's this weekend, but you're not going to be a part of it. You're going to go fix what's going on. I'm happy they did it now because I think this team needs a wake-up call. Bednar, surprisingly, is not the worst part about this team right now. There's a lot things worse, in my opinion, going on with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And it's the fact they can't hit a baseball. They can't do anything. Ji-hwan Bae is still on the team. He has no say to be on the Pittsburgh Pirates right now. Colin Holderman, here's a question before I keep going rambling. Speaking of closers, do you think there's a role where Shohei becomes a closer late in the year, keep his pitch count down to avoid injury, but still utilize his pitching ability? Honestly, I'm intrigued by this because he did close out the World Baseball Classic. If we remember that awesome moment where he struck out Mike Trout a couple years ago. Honestly, this might be the move, but I don't know how that would really work out with the whole lineup management type of thing because we've only seen it out of the starting rotation type of thing, starter and bench guy. I don't know how that would work if he'd go to the bullpen, still be able to be in the lineup. I don't know there's really a rule about that. I know Ryan Nelson got an RBI hit against the Chicago Cubs literally the other day because they just didn't have a bench, the Diamondbacks, that day. But the thing about the Pirates, they have worse, and I don't know if you'll agree with me with this. Their GM's a bum. He's built
Yeah.
an awful roster. Hopefully they fix it up today. The fact of the matter that makes me the most mad is Tommy Pham's on this team. You know my thoughts about Tommy Pham. He's awful. I
He
don't
struck
like him.
out looking like 3 times.
Oh
opening
yeah,
day.
he's not good. And then there was a lot of Yinzers as well, emotionally going after O'Neal Cruz. I'm sorry, I can't blame O'Neal Cruz for anything. Yes, he dropped the baseball. Yes, the first game, it's not all on him. Colin Holderman and David
He should
Bednar
have had
fell
that
off the
ball.
pitch.
I think. I think he could have caught that ball.
Here's my thing: the play that I would have blamed him more on is not throwing to second base on opening day. Not throwing to second base. Runner moves up to second. Instead, he throws home. Cannon of an arm. Then the ball that went over his head, I don't think that was getting caught. I'm not going to
I thought he
lie.
could have
It was
got that,
gonna
dude.
be
He's
tough.
fast. And
It's
he's got
50-50.
reach. I think he
And
could. I think he had made a better effort for it.
Yeah. It's 50-50. And the thing is, he was just thrown into that last year. That's what people are saying. Like, he was just thrown into that last year. I think he's only played like only 30 games maybe in that position. It's not a lot. And they hardly played him there in spring training. He was like DHing a lot. They were taking him out of games. I don't know what they're doing, mismanaging these guys. And then we saw the play in extra innings where it went off his glove. I can't even blame that on him. If the bullpen is not being the bullpen, game's not even in that situation. If the offense isn't 5 for 18 or 3 for 19, I think it was, with runners in scoring position, extra innings don't even happen. So O'Neal Cruz,
Nate.
I'm sorry. I don't like any of the hate he's getting. It's not his fault the team can't hit around him. Heck, he walked 4 times and already has 5 stolen bases. Like, he's killing it.
Yeah.
Brian Reynolds can't hit a baseball until June. No offense to Brian Reynolds. People call him Prego on Twitter because he's having a kid again. And every year he has a kid. It's kind of funny. He falls off. So I'm kind of intrigued by that. But yeah, this Pirates team, I hope they can bounce back tonight because honestly, I hope there's not a world. If they get swept this series, they are going to be, if I do the math right, 1-6 against the New York Yankees, who destroyed, and I mean destroyed, the Milwaukee Brewers this weekend.
But Pirates win those games. You know the Pirates will beat the Yankees.
Which is funny that they can't do that, but then they get walked off by like Kyle Stowers and getting owned by Griffin Conine. And I just knew he was going to hit a home run against us because his dad got inducted in the Marlins Hall of Fame that day. So it's just, but I'm hoping for the best tonight. I really am. I will say, I do like the guy they traded for yesterday. I know it's basically.
Go for it.
What are you going to say? It's a nothing move. People are going to say, oh, typical Pirates type of thing. But this guy can hit bombs. Sure. So, I mean, it's better than Ji-Hwan Bae.
Now, let me ask you this. Bullpen's a disaster, right?
Yeah.
It's a disaster.
Kind of. Just 2 of them, in my opinion.
You could make a move, and this is a plausible move. Would the Pirates do it? I doubt it. You could go get a kid, a young arm from the Pittsburgh area, Waynesburg University alum, Mason Miller.
They're not going to do that.
I don't think they would.
They aren't trading them.
I think they could. I think the A's could. Pirates could do it, but that's just something I would hope to see.
The thing about the A's that are interesting, they just extended Brent Rooker, Lawrence Butler, Mason Miller. I think already got a contract too.
Yeah,
they're not going to get rid of him. He needs to be part of that core going to Las Vegas. But I hope the Pirates can bounce back because honestly, they had some positives, a lot of negatives, but I will say a lot of positives. Well, some positive. The big positive being the base running. But the thing is, like, they lead the league in stolen bases, but the negative is they can't bring in these runs. They can't do it. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. It's hilarious. So these stolen bases practically mean nothing unless they're stealing home. I loved it. I put out a tweet saying, why is Ji-Hwan Bae still on the team? Someone commented he can't even steal first base. Like, your job is to steal bases. Did you watch that play the other day? It was like game 3.
He kept trying to
steal
almost,
Yeah, he stutters. He faked out a steal twice, and he's the fastest guy on the team. And whenever he failed, he turned around. It was ball 4, so he wouldn't have went to second base anyway. He almost pulled a hamstring, and then he got thrown out at third base. It was the most baffling.
Yeah,
it was awful.
He's done. All right. Besides the Pirates, what else do you want to talk about? I know there's one subject that we definitely want to hit home on.
Yeah, we'll save that for a second. I will say the Dodgers look like the Dodgers. They look really good.
I mean, they're winning the World Series. They're on 6-0. They're unreal, Nate.
I'm very surprised the Twins are playing awful baseball. The Brewers right now have been destroyed about every game.
Yeah, Brewers are just they played the Yankees. It's not really.
Yeah, but they also got destroyed by the Royals yesterday. It was
did.
bad. I think it was 11-1.
Wow.
The Braves have not started good. I know Jurickson Profar just got suspended for steroid use.
Yeah, Padres
He's
are
out
5-0.
games.
I like the Padres.
What is it?
I said the Padres are 5-0. I like that.
Yeah, and what's funny about Profar is people are like, I thought he could have been a realistically solid free agent if that's the cheap multi-year, but you know what? Pirates might have dodged a bullet right there.
Sure.
My thing with Profar, what's funny is someone joked because he was on the Padres last year. Everyone was saying, "Oh, it makes sense. The doctor likes treating people for ringworm over in San Diego because Tatis got suspended too." But who knows? Maybe that's why he had a good year last year. Honestly, I don't think it's all of it, but it might be part of it. He did the typical "I'm sorry, I apologize, I didn't mean any harm" type of thing. So the Braves made like the minor trade to get like a backup. They brought in Stuart Fairchild, who was on the Reds. He's average. I don't think he'll play that much, but Jurickson Profar suspended. That was probably the second biggest story though from opening weekend. The one that has taken the world by storm, and what's funny is Greg Brown on The Fan today. I was listening to it when I got home. He said the Pirates put in an order for some of these things. Some players across the league are also already using these things. The Yankees made it popular. Let's talk torpedo bats. So this came out.
Yeah,
this came out after the 20-9 win.
Preface this. This is not a new thing, Nate. This has been a thing since last year. Giancarlo Stanton was using a torpedo bat in the playoffs last year, in which he raked in.
Yep.
The Yankees started this last year in the playoffs, and I don't think it blew up that much. No one was really talking about Stanton's bat. And then this year, a bunch of Yankees, I know Volpe was kind of the test subject here, I think they said. And now I think Bellinger, Goldschmidt, Stanton, they're all using it. Judge, I know, said that he's not going to be using one just because he rakes with any bat. And he's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So do you think there's a problem with the torpedo bats?
No. And I'm going to pull up a picture really quick so people know what we're talking about. I have it pulled up on Twitter right now. Sure. Let me see here. Share screen. This is what it looks like for everyone wanting to know. So what it is it's like, see this barrel right here?
Yeah.
So the whole premise of this, why this became popular, was the Yankees actually hired a guy from MIT. Mm-hmm. His physicist was named Lenny. That's what it was. It was a former Yankees infielder was posting about it. See how the wood is all up here. The whole premise of it was Anthony Volpe. They did a test on him. He was making contact, most of his contact kind of like up here by like the label right here. So what they did is they beefed up this part where the ball is going to make the most contact. And what's that going to do? Help your barrel rate, help your exit velocity. What's that help you do? What's the age of the baseball now? Hitting bombs. That's what it is. You don't really see a lot of small ball anymore. The Yankees, they're basically the Bronx Bombers again, even though they've been doing this for years because Aaron Judge is just Aaron Judge. They bring in Jazz Chisholm. He's hitting nukes. He's going to have a career year. Anthony Volpe is already hitting nukes. Austin Wells is. Oswaldo Peraza hit a nuke the other day. Like Giancarlo Stanton when he comes back, of course. This isn't illegal, everyone. This is not illegal. It is in the rules. And here's the thing. If it was illegal, the MLB would have said something by now because the rule states that it has to be in a certain diameter, certain length, and all that. Because I was reading up on this. And there is a cutout of the rule. If the league finds out, they can just ban it. The league would know by now. They would clearly know by now. You had to have league approval to do this. And they clearly did because if they didn't, the league would have stepped in by now. With this type of stuff, like MLB can't punish the utilization of research, not like there's hiding it. Yeah, it's clear.
Absolutely agree.
And this is the age of baseball we are in.
And it's also been going on for a year now. This is nothing new.
It's the age of advanced analytics, Danny. That's what it is. You see like these like websites. I like to use Baseball Savant. You find yourself in like the percentile. If you're in the red, you're really good. And the stats that people look at there mainly are barrel rate, contact rate, whiff percentage, how much you're striking out, your exit velocity. That's what baseball thrives on right now. It's no longer the sport of we're just going to look at your batting average. We're just going to look at how many home runs you hit. People are looking at your OPS, your slugging percentage, what else you're doing with the bat, your exit velocity. Like O'Neal Cruz, Ellie De La Cruz, they're hitting piss missiles. That's what teams are looking at. They're looking at guys that are able to hit bombs. Shohei, Aaron Judge. Like the game is changing, and honestly, like I hate. Part of me, like I'm an old school MLB fan too. I had to grow on the pitch clock. I think everyone did. I've loved it now. And this, honestly, I'm excited for, just because I know a lot of other teams have put in orders and they are ready to, like Greg Brown, the Pirates announcer, said they've already put in an order and they're supposedly coming in really soon. And I
No
think
way, we're getting torpedo bats.
Well, I think O'Neal Cruz already has one, supposedly. There was a
That's
list
fire.
that came out on Twitter, and he was the one Pirate name, and like everyone else is confirmed that has one. It's pretty funny. But yeah, and people were, of course, crying because the Yankees were doing this. But then Ryan Jeffers of the Twin is using this, and people were like, "Well, he didn't hit anything, so why doesn't it work for them?" Because
I mean, I feel like guys that are just struggling are just going to start to use it as a scapegoat. And then, like, here's my thing: if you switch to this bat, you could really screw yourself up. Like Aaron Judge said, like, why would I switch to a torpedo bat when I hit 60 home runs last year? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're an all-star batter, I wouldn't be switching to a torpedo bat, because you look at guys that compete in like the home run derby, Nate, their swings get messed up, and then they were literally never the same. It takes them a year to get back, or even longer to get back to where they once were. I think it's a preference thing. Now, if there are analytics that are saying, okay, you hit it off the barrel, I don't think you need to grab a torpedo bat and just head into your next game. I would get a torpedo bat and bat with it for practice for a week and be like, all right, sure, I can use this thing, and then use it. But there's no need to change everything about your game, because this is an entirely different bat. You hit it a wrong part, and it's not going to go the same as it used to.
Yeah, I like how it's shaped right here too. People were calling it at first. I think people were saying it's a bowling pin bat. I'll pull up the braid. I had this pull up. Also hard for MLB to hate this when it's set as a dying game, and now teams are scoring 10+ runs, hitting piss out of the ball. People love watching piss missiles.
This is almost, Nate, like when MLB had the juice balls a few years ago.
Yeah,
like I like it.
I love it too, because people are hitting long balls.
Don't jam. Hey. This is beneficial to people that are getting jammed on pitches. So if you don't want that, make them hit it off the end of the bat.
Yeah, and it's perfectly legal too. And it's just the smart, like the Yankees were smart enough to say, you know what, let's bring in a guy that knows this stuff from MIT, knows how to make mass out of wood, or however they said it, like mass to wood, I think they said it was. And they just put all the weight of the bat up top where the guy is mainly hitting the baseball. It's not that hard of a concept for teams to understand. And I'm kind of surprised teams let the Yankees do this first, honestly, because you would think there's a lot of smarter teams out there, but clearly there are not. And the Yankees have done the greatest thing ever. And I
need this for my softball league, mate. I need one of these torpedo softball bats.
They didn't invent this, but they've been using. And here's the funny thing: there were some funny tweets I saw when I was looking. This is a good one. The original torpedo bat. Then there's this.
No, that's tough. I use that.
This is the original torpedo.
I hit nukes with that bat.
This right here is the OG torpedo.
No, I had a red one. It was like this big, and I remember I brought that to my wiffle ball games, and everyone was like, "Oh my god!" They were like, "You're cheating. You can't use that." And I was like, "Get your own."
But yeah, torpedo bats. I think it's interesting how we've made it there. It's going to be intriguing to see how people adjust to it across baseball. Clearly, I know baseball just keep going. We're only the Pirates per se are only on game 6, and there's already a major story in Major League Baseball.
Now,
there's
Nate,
still 100+ games left.
Let me ask you this: is this the best Dodgers team you've ever? Is this the best Dodgers team? Is this the best baseball team ever?
Ooh.
I think so. I think easily.
It has potential.
Who's better? What's a better pound for pound 1-9 starting rotation bullpen than the Los Angeles Dodgers? There is none
right now.
But there's never been one. This is the best baseball team ever assembled. This is going to go down as one of the best teams in sports ever, with the 95, 96 Bulls, the 2017 Warriors, the 2019 Toronto Raptors. Best teams of all time. But this will be going. This is the best baseball team ever assembled. Yeah, the Mako. I had the orange Mako. The Stealth. Do you remember the Stealth? The Easton Stealth. That was one. That was a different one.
With the Dodgers, I'm gonna judge this at the end of the season based off their final record to see if they're the greatest team.
They're gonna win. They're gonna win 150 games.
Well, I know Freddie Freeman just got hurt in the shower.
The shower. That's insane.
You see that?
His ankle getting into the shower.
Ankle in the shower. So
that's a Pirates injury.
What? Yeah, like I said it on my Instagram. I was like, this is legit a Pittsburgh Pirates type of injury. This is something that would happen to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here's the thing that would hurt the Dodgers. It is that injuries.
Injuries, yeah, for
Clearly.
sure. But
But they brought in a
even
lot
if
of
they
depth.
lose, if they lose Freddie Freeman and Ohtani for 6 months,
They brought in some
not
good
6 months,
players.
that's long. Nate, they can still make a World Series push without
Oh, yeah.
Mookie and
The
Freddie
pitching
Freeman.
staff's elite.
Like, it's just that team is so good. You got like Max Muncy, even like Gavin Lux are really good.
I really want to know if this is possible. Like, I'll bring this up again, like the whole Ohtani becoming a
Exactly.
closer. That would be elite. Look what the A's turned Mason Miller when he came up from a starter into a closer just to preserve his arm.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like if I'm the Pirates, I would totally contemplate this. And I've thought about this for
Jared
a while.
Jones.
Yeah, because he just got hurt. Imagine him out of the bullpen. Like, imagine a closer. Imagine Bubba Chandler as a closer per se. He can't start, and they just love his arm. This Thomas Harrington guy they just called up who has a good pitch too. I can put him in there. But man, this Dodgers team, it's nasty. Will they go down as the best record in Major League history? I mean, we just saw the White Sox make their own history last year as the worst team. Will the Dodgers, as the Phillies, we are a great place, but it's impossible to really have high hopes.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers are built the way they are.
Phillies are my pick for the World Series, though.
Yeah, Danny did pick. I do like how the Phillies are built. I picked them to win the NL East. I don't know. I picked the Dodgers, Red Sox. Though,
I could just. I'm hoping that something like that. I really like the Phillies, how they play, and like they're playing at Citizens Bank is so cool to watch. It has to be the best atmosphere in MLB.
Let me just throw you this. This won't happen, but just imagine the playoff atmospheres of this if we had the Phillies in Red October and a best of 5 with Bucktober, Pittsburgh.
Bucktober, blackout games.
Blackout versus the red out. Just imagine. It won't happen.
We get swept.
Oh yeah, we would get swept. But yeah, the thing about the Phillies, I'll say this: I really like their pitching rotation. I know they did lose to the Nationals this weekend, but you're going to lose every so often. But I mean, their pitching rotation is really nice. I know JJ, the Mets fan, of course, was saying about how good the Mets are, but Sean Manaea is going to be out for a long time.
He said they had the pitching staff on par with the Pirates, which is just literally not true. Sorry.
I can't justify a former closer being your number one starter. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, I said it.
Come on. And then they have bro from the Yankees that they got. It's like that's not better. That's not. Yeah, it's honestly a bottom pitching staff in the MLB.
It's an okay lineup, but I don't like the pitching staff. I will stand on that.
Bad pitching staff, flat out. Senga hasn't been good.
He hasn't been healthy.
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't done anything.
Anything else in the baseball world? Because we do have one more topic we, of course, have to cover today. Man, I hope the Pirates win. I need a W.
We need something in our life, Nate. We need something good.
Do we need here?
Let's move on to it.
Score prediction tonight against the Rays. Thomas Harrington's Major League Baseball debut. What happens?
4-1. We lose.
Probably what. It's sad when they go down 1-0. I know the game is over because no one can hit. Until I see someone hit a baseball that is not just a bloop single or something while I'm watching the game, because I turned it off, and of course we got a double finally. So yeah, it's my bad we're losing because I bought SMP 360. It's completely my fault.
Yeah, that's on you. Actually, it's on you.
But yeah, I hope they win. I hope they do. But yeah, sadly we have to talk about this. Ugh. Aaron Rodgers, man.
I don't like it, Nate.
I don't like it either. I think it's happening next week at the Pat McAfee show live in Pittsburgh. I really think it is.
I think I'm going to go to that.
It's sold out.
Yeah.
I know they're selling 1,750 tickets. Yeah. Tomorrow at noon.
Yeah.
1,750 tickets.
Yeah. I'm not
best of luck
on that, Nate.
I might have my buddy try. He was thinking about it. But yeah, if this happens, if we are there per se, that would be really funny. I might boo. I'm not gonna lie if I show up.
Yeah, I would.
There's gonna be a bunch of people going nuts, of course, but man, this is not the way. And why I want to talk about this today is there was a quote from Art Rooney II today. This was on about Aaron Rodgers, and he said it basically said he's having a good feeling about Aaron Rodgers, and the signs are pointing in that direction of him signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And can I just say this? The Pittsburgh Steelers of yesterday would not be running on this guy's time.
No.
They would not. Rodgers is the only person who would manage to get Tomlin fired.
Exactly. Yeah. True. True. That would happen.
Man, I hate this. I hate how he's not even here and he's practically controlling the franchise. People have told me
But
he's
he's
not
a Steeler. He's a Steeler.
Yeah.
Because if not here, where? There's no other option for him in the NFL.
And they've already told him no. They want JJ.
Like there is nowhere else in the NFL that it needs a starting quarterback that wants Aaron. Uh-oh.
You froze on my end. Yeah, you're back.
Something went out. Okay, cool.
You're back. Can you say that all again? Because I missed all of that.
Where'd I leave off, Nate?
Something about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
this guy.
No one wants him. No one wants him in the NFL. And he is just, I don't know what he's doing because we've given him an offer and he's like, yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll let you know. Dude, like we are your only offer. And I personally don't like Rodgers. I know he has unbelievable talent. He still has some gas left in the tank. He had a bad year last year. We can't sugarcoat it but it was a bad team. Pittsburgh Steelers are a better team than that Jets team was last year by far, I believe, with defense and offensive intangibles, coaching wise as well. But I just hate Rodgers. I can't have it.
Can I pull up an image from yesterday? Yeah. I think I sent it to you. This is me right now based off what's going on with this whole situation.
Yeah. This is gas.
Look at this guy. Kaboli.
Kaboli is I'm not a Kaboli guy. I don't like Kaboli. I think Kaboli's a clown.
Did you see the clip of Mike Tomlin roasting him by chance?
No. Oh my god. This interview.
I gotta find this. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna pull this up. I gotta look up
he did it yesterday, roasted him. I hate Kaboli. He's like him and Pompiani just lie about Pittsburgh news. They say, Rodgers is happening tonight.
Here's the thing. They did this stupid thing. It made no sense. It was like at a what was it? A stupid like breakfast interview. Mike Tomlin was like sweating up a storm, by the way. I don't know if you saw all these things. I don't know how this dude was sweating that much at like 5 a.m. It was actually, but no, all these memes spurred out. And that Kaboli, if you don't know him, he is basically a Steelers guy, worked for The Athletic.
He's the worst.
Yeah, and now he's on the Pat McAfee show. Here's
the slob.
This is, let me share this really quick. You're going to like this. He got roasted. This was about DK Metcalf, by the way. I don't know if this, hopefully sound works here.
Uh-oh.
You ready?
Apparently we have the same appetite for candy, me and DK. You hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Apparently he eats 4 or 5 candy bars a day.
Really?
Not me. Really? That's what he said on a podcast.
He wears it a little differently than you.
Buddy just called him fat.
He called him fat.
Yeah, he said Buddy wears it differently than you.
My Wi-Fi's cooked, Nate.
Oh, it's my bad. Sorry, I broke your internet.
We're fried.
Okay, I'll keep talking.
Cooked. All right, listen, Wi-Fi's cooked.
Aaron Rodgers broke the Wi-Fi.
Uh-oh.
Mike Tomlin. It's all his fault, man.
Uh-oh. Nate, Wi-Fi's Let's just. I'm pulling the plug. Did
you hear anything? Did you
nothing,
hear?
I literally heard nothing you said.
You didn't even see the clip.
No, I heard him call him fat, basically, kind of.
Yeah, the clip. The clip explaining it was Mark Kaboli asked about DK Metcalf eating candy bars, and Mike Tomlin said, "Oh, at least he wears it a little bit differently than you." I see. Like, oh gosh, man, I hate this thing. I just want it to be over. I just want us to have a quarterback. I agree with what you said about Rodgers being good. Just don't like him. I'm just not a fan of him. He'll go on his darkness retreats to Laurel Caverns, close to where I am. He'll go up to Fort Necessity, go see a Civil War battlefield. He'll go on a retreat to Ohio Pile. That's about it.
Oh, wow. All right.
He'll post his Netflix drama. It'll be great. And we'll take it like a champ. We'll take it like a champ, man. But here's the final thought. Why is he's practicing with DK Metcalf? Just sign the contract, man. Please. They were just throwing a football together.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm over Rodgers already. My Wi-Fi is terrible. I don't know. I'm pissed.
It's all his fault.
Yeah, it's Rodgers' fault. My Wi-Fi is terrible. Well,
What a show.
I think we got to call it there. I can't deal with my Wi-Fi being like this anymore. I'm gonna crash. That'll do it for today's episode. Thank you for everyone tuning in.
Yep.
Good episode today. We'll be back. I think next Tuesday. I'm going up to New York on Thursday, so I'll be gone for those next shows. But yep, we'll see you guys next week and stay tuned. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
See y'all later.